I'm Keys, and I represent District 4, which is the Shea Valley. I'm also the president of the board of directors. So on behalf of the board, I'd like to thank you all for coming out today. Thank you very much. So first order, I believe, is to call the meeting to order and close registration. And I will appoint Bob Sweeten as our parliamentarian. And then if everyone could please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'd like to take a moment and introduce your board of directors. We have Ms. Holden from District 1. Thank you, Bruce. We have Mike Cottingham, District 2. And Frank Jarvis, District 3. And myself, District 4. And Ms. Terry D'Antonio is not here today. She's ending her term at the end of this meeting, and she will be replaced by a new director-elect named Kevin McMahon, who's also not here tonight. Then we have Brent Corky, who represents District 6, and Michelle Caird for District 7. Okay, thank you. Okay, and here comes Amy with some numbers. Okay, number needed for a quorum is about 412. The membership represented today at the meeting is 122, so we do not have a quorum, which means we will not conduct any official business.
It doesn't surprise me.
Okay, wait a minute, guys. What that means is we're not going to vote on the minutes from the last 3 or 4 district annual meetings where there was not quorums. And so we also will not vote on the mailing of the membership because your votes, there's not a quorum to handle a vote. So yes, the meeting will go on as planned. I'm sorry if I misspoke, but it will not be considered an official meeting where we can take official votes. So you're upset that you can't vote on the minute?
Yes, you want me to talk about that? Kathy, do you want me to take that?
If you could.
Hey, listen, I thought the same thing the first time I heard it, right? So I'm parliamentarian, I'm legal counsel. The meeting's gonna happen completely normal. Your comments are gonna be taken, substantive subject matters are gonna be discussed, it's gonna be a forum, just like it was planned, to report on the activities of Valley Electric in the last year and for you all to bring questions and concerns to directors. That's not changing. As President Keys stated, the only technical thing that means is that a vote's not going to be taken on the last year's minutes, which, by the way, we have not taken a vote on the prior year's annual meeting minutes since prior to COVID. So we have a stack. So tell your friends for next year and we can have a good time and vote on all of them. And the other thing is we're not going to take a vote, an official vote, on the proof of mailing, which is just a notice that this meeting was going to occur and that votes happened and ballots were received and all sorts of things like that. That's the only thing that's going to be different that happens if we don't have a quorum. So the meeting will proceed totally normal. Question? Yeah.
Only 100 and some odd people showed up, and it needs to be 400. Do you see this room? You can't sit 400 people.
Yeah. So typically, and you may recall, this used to be held at the high school. It was moved over here because we would not hit the membership numbers to kind of justify holding it over there. So certainly, and I can assure you, at least I've been informed that anyone's been turned away tonight. So to the extent that in the future, like if member liaison committee or policy committee wants to work with the directors to figure out how to do outreach at different location to make people more comfortable, certainly Valley will be open to that. Yeah, question over here too, and then I'm gonna turn it back to Director
I'd like to
Keys.
make a motion to move public comment up first.
Okay, I will let you, I'll let Director Keys handle that. Given the motions, because it's not an official meeting, right?
Over
The
at the
normal
high school, we
parliamentary
always had
procedure
them.
won't, it isn't like ironclad like it normally would be. With that said, that's a discretionary matter. Yes, one more question.
Good.
Yeah, so that can be done, and that's something that certainly, thank you for raising that. That can be brought up with the member liaison or policy committees to talk about future amendments to the bylaws. That's a 2% number. All right, let's do these last two questions, then we're going to start the meeting. Yeah. 2%.
Used to be 10%.
Well, it's certainly, if it wasn't on the paper that went out, it's in the bylaws, and it's in the governing documents which are available to all members. And that's not a new change. Yes. Oh, it's right at the, yeah, so it does say right at the top. I agree, we could put it large print, right? I'll defer to staff on that, but it does say quorum will be based on attendance of a minimum of 2% of the membership as outlined in Article 3, Section 5 of the Association bylaws. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess what I'll say, yeah, I can certainly understand some sense of frustration. Just to be clear, the meeting's gonna be identical, whatever you had planned in your mind, unless you were really excited about voting on the annual meeting minutes from last year tonight. I'm sorry to disappoint. Otherwise, it's the same meeting. So I'm going to defer back to President Keys, and we'll get going.
Thank you. We can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, that brings us up to board committee report. I'm sorry, you guys are talking over me. I'd like to move on to the board committee reports. And the first one is the finance committee, so I will turn the microphone over to Mike Cottingham, who is the chairman of the committee.
Good evening. Funny getting up here. My back went out this morning and don't get around. So the purpose of the finance committee, we meet monthly. And we meet with the CEO and the financial officer to review the current financial performance of all the VEA operations and how they relate expenditures to budget, revenue to budget, and any special projects that are coming up. We are notified, we can see this through the reports, if any of the expenditures exceed the budget and turns us a little bit upside down, we look at those areas and see if there are any ways of changing that, maybe increasing revenue to stay within the budget that we put together. Now the finance committee, we review all the financials that are presented to the company and the programs. We take the research that the staff has provided, and then we make recommendations to the board. And so that's the only way financial decisions get made. No individual can make one. They have to come through a series of steps. Okay, so right now, we are currently in the process of putting together our 2024 budget. What we did, we have established some goals that we want the budget to meet, and then we will work on putting the numbers together inside that to see the best thing we can do. So our number of our goals is one, to provide the best service and the best competitive rates to our members, maintain and improve the co-op's financial health and performance, and also acquire and retain the best staff possible. If you've seen the reports on the level of service that is provided, the minimum outages, the time the power gets turned back on, the time the calls return, the service within this co-op is exceptional. And you can't, this is a highly competitive business, a highly complicated business, and we cannot run it at this level without qualified staff. So, Mr. Stallings and his staff, they manage a $110 million business that includes 31 different divisions within that. And so each one of those is reviewed every month as to its current status as far as the budget, performance, and training. All those things are taken into account. Now, our finance committee, we have one representative from each of the 6 sections, plus Mark, plus the financial officer. So within that, we have a very high level of experience. We have people involved in residential and commercial finance, government finance and budget preparation, co-ops, nonprofits, public service companies, private sector companies, private portfolio management, and then Mark with all of his experience in the co-op and stuff. Excuse me. VEA's financial picture has improved greatly in the last 8 months. Just about 10 months ago, we applied actually for financing for battery storage, and were turned down. So we have improved our what's called our debt service coverage ratio, which is the ratio between how much debt you owe and how much debt that you have, excuse me, how much revenue. We have now improved that to the point that our banks are talking to us again, and this battery storage is the only thing that helps us mitigate our risk. We have a certain amount of our power